Flowers bloom in the heart of winter. In a quiet mountain town, blanketed in snow, where the world seemed frozen in time, lived Haruka, a 17-year-old girl with a heart full of dreams and a soul that found solace in art. She spent her days in a small wooden house on the outskirts of town, sketching the snow-covered trees, the frozen lake, and the rare winter birds that visited. But despite her love for painting, Haruka carried an emptiness she couldn't quite name. She had no close friends and often sat alone by her window, brush in hand, as the snowfall whispered secrets to the world outside. One frigid morning, while on her way to school, she noticed a boy she had never seen before. He stood at the bus stop, wearing a long black coat and carrying a violin case on his back. His dark hair fell messily over his forehead, and his gray eyes shimmered with a distant sadness. Haruka couldn't look away. When she boarded the bus, she was surprised to see him take the seat across from her. Their eyes met for a fleeting second before she quickly looked away, her heart skipping a beat. The next day, she saw him again, this time sitting on a wooden bench near her school, playing a haunting melody on his violin. The music was mesmerizing, carrying a sorrow so deep that students stopped to listen. Haruka felt drawn to him, but couldn't bring herself to approach. Days later, returning late from the library, she found him sitting by the frozen lake, playing his violin under the falling snow. Gathering her courage, she spoke softly. "Your music is beautiful." He looked up and smiled gently. "And you are?" he asked in a calm voice. She sat beside him, pulling her coat tighter. "My name's Haruka. I see you playing every day. But you're not from around here, are you?" He chuckled softly. "I'm Kai. I moved here recently. This place is quiet. It feels like the lake listens to me." That night marked the beginning of something new. They talked for hours, and she learned that Kai was a professional musician from the city, though he never said why he left. From that night on, Haruka found herself visiting the lake daily, always hoping he would be there. Their bond grew quickly. Haruka painted while Kai played, filling the winter air with music and color. Slowly, her world brightened, and his music softened. One evening, as she sketched him playing under the pale moonlight, she asked, "Why does your music always sound so sad, Kai?" He paused, lowering his violin. "In the city, I lost someone I loved deeply. Playing is how I speak to them now." She didn't press further, but a quiet determination bloomed in her heart. She wanted to be the reason he smiled again. Weeks passed and the snow began to melt. Tiny flowers peeked through the frost, bringing life to the lakeside once more. One day, Kai handed her a single white flower and said with a gentle smile, "Every winter ends, Haruka. It always leaves something beautiful behind. Maybe it's time I start smiling again." Her cheeks flushed, and she held the flower like it was a treasure. From that moment, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. He composed melodies just for her, and she filled her canvas with his image. They met every morning before school, and every evening after sunset, the lake becoming their secret world, where only their hearts spoke. Eventually, Kai decided to hold a concert in town. On the night of his performance, Haruka stood among the audience, her hands trembling with anticipation. When he stepped onto the stage, the melody he played was unlike anything she'd heard before. It was warm, tender, and full of hope. As he finished, his eyes found hers across the crowd, and he smiled, a smile that made her heart melt. After the concert, he led her back to their lakeside sanctuary. The moon reflected off the rippling water as he took her hands and said, "Haruka, you changed my world. Your art reminded me of beauty. I want to spend my life making you smile." Her breath caught in her throat, but her heart knew the answer. She whispered, "And I want the same." He leaned closer, his hand gently resting over hers. "Then, will you let me play for you? Forever?" She nodded shyly, and he pulled her into a warm embrace as snowflakes began to fall once more, creating a moment straight out of a dream. Months passed, and spring painted the town in colors they had never seen before. The lake, once frozen, now reflected a sky full of sunlight and laughter. The townspeople came to know them as the artist and the musician, two souls who healed each other as hearts. One night, as they sat beneath a starry sky by the lake that had witnessed it all, Kai whispered, "You know, Haruka, I used to think winter meant endings, but you showed me it's the beginning of the most beautiful seasons." She smiled, squeezing his hand gently. "And I used to think I'd always be alone, until I heard your music." At that moment, they both knew. Their love wasn't just a fleeting winter romance. It was proof that even in the coldest of seasons, flowers can bloom, and hearts can find warmth again.